Hello everyone, welcome to more Shadowbringers. We are in Yulmore, and Alphino seems eager to discuss the significance of your discoveries. Humph. I take my eye off you for one moment and you're chatting away with that assistant of yours. Am I to assume the outline is done then? What are the blazes? Huh? It's so unflattering. Explain yourself, Alphino. Where's your artistic interpretation? It should evoke images of affluence and nobility and overwhelm the viewer with its boundless beauty. Lord Chai, you stated that this portrait was to commemorate your anniversary. Yours being a joyous reunion, it seemed to me that a realistic portrayal... Realistic? I don't want realism, I want perfection. A spectacle to slacken jaws and weaken knees, to make people cry out in amazement. Now, fetch a blank canvas and... Ah! I say, did that come from above? Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. A tale to make you quiver and your noble blood freeze. There was a villain on the loose, set to ruin our fair city. But our Lord has got him now, and his fate will not be pretty. Yes, the hammer of justice is poised to come crashing down, and one and all who'd watch it fall are invited to join his lordship in the offer. A malcontent? How dreadful. And this man is to face sentencing. That's right. In fact, if you're curious, it would be worth you going along for the experience. The offer they mentioned is part of the Emergent, the level above us where Lord Vothry resides. Ordinarily, you would be barred from entering, but it seems they'll be opening its doors for the next little while. The Crown lift will take you up there. We had better not dawdle then. That doesn't seem good. You will be careful around that malcontent, won't you? I should so hate for you to come to any harm, although I imagine Lord Vothry has the villain well under control. If you want to see justice being served, stop dawdling and take the Crown lift up to the Emergent. Sure. Let's go see who this criminal is. Whoops, other way around. Apparently that is not the door to Vothry's place, because it seems to be over here. That's the Xylem lift. What is the Xylem lift? I don't remember. Oh, is that... Well, hang on. Is that... No. The Crown lift is this. What is the Xylem lift? Huh? Does that ever get used? Because the crown lift does go all the way down. Or at least it goes between the buttress and the canopy. It doesn't look like it stops at this floor anywhere. But I don't know what the xylem lift is. Huh. Guess we'll find out if it gets used. Joining the crowd up there. Sure. Whoop. Hello, kitty cat. There he is.
That's him. That's Vorthri.
Everybody's favorite villain to hate in this game. It's Lord Vorthri. Also, I already know what his English voice sounds like. I hate it.
He is attended by sin-eaters. But how does he keep them from attacking?
Look who it is. Boy, if you know the end of Shadowbringers, there's a lot of stuff here that, like, I've never seen.
Mercy! Mercy!
By the 12.
It's Kaishir. Uh-oh. He's, not doing so hot.
Kaishir, what happened to you?
Who are these impudent louts? I do not recall requesting their presence.
Lord Vorthri, what is the meaning of this? Why is this poor man bleeding to death on your floor?
Why? You ask me why? Because criminals must be punished, and this man is guilty of fraud.
So, in the Japanese version, like, and I have no idea how else to explain it, but the voice, the voice actor that does Vorthri's voice, the way that he does the voice makes Vorthri sound like he's fat. Like, his voice is the kind of voice that you would assume a fat guy has, you know? And I know that might sound terrible, but, like, he's got that voice. Like, the Japanese one is just so, like, absolutely dead on perfect. It's insane. And this just sounds like a guy doing a voice. So
He came to us, claiming to be a man of business. Yet his subsequent conduct has shown him to be anything but. Europe is a city built on love for one's fellow man. Those who have naught to give and live only to take are a blight upon our society.
I will say, he's doing a good job.
To atone for this crime, I ordered that he fling himself from the balcony.
Like, he is doing a good job. And if I had heard this voice first, I would have been like, cool. But the Japanese one, it's just, he sounds like what he looks. You know?
Had the temerity to weep. Please, my lord, anything but that. What then is a man of mercy to do? But offer the sinner another way to show his contrition.
Another way? Meaning what exactly?
Sin-eaters are part of Yulmor's society, but they must be fed with ether. Living ether. So, I demanded an offering of flesh, carved by his own hand, from his own hide. And still, He could not do as I asked. A wholly unsatisfactory performance.
Again, I can say he's doing a good job. Like, if I had heard this first, I would have been like, yeah. Like, I get it. But the freaking Japanese voice is just so ridiculously perfect. But he is good.
It is true that Kaishia won his place here by fraud, but his actions were driven only by a desire to share in your paradise. That you would cast him out I could almost accept, but to humiliate him thus, to demand his very life? Is this truly the way of Yulmore?
Dim, deluded child. Have you ever paused to consider what it takes to maintain such a paradise in this barren, broken world of ours? The guarantee of safety and stability. The knowledge that if one only abides by the rules, one has naught to fear. I alone can offer these things, for I alone can command the Sin Eaters. And thus am I alone the voice of justice, and any who oppose me, villains to be punished.
Let me go punch him.
People call this paradise.
I really am just like ready to go murder this guy.
You were granted a place in my city for a particular skill. What was it?
Painting.
Paint.
An artiste! Then you shall paint a picture for me of Yulmore. If I find your art pleasing, then I may excuse this display of insolence.
Hmm?
Who gave you permission to tend to that criminal's wounds? I told you to paint me a picture!
He's doing a great job, I will say.
What you need is a mirror, not a painting. It will capture the horror I see before me far better than I ever could. Can you walk?
I think so.
Be glad I'm walking away, Bothery. Be glad.
Did that little worm just insult me? I'll kill them! I'll kill them all! I'll enslave their minds! I'll torment them! Torture them! Then tear out their hearts!
Ooh, there was someone there. Thank you again. Forgive me. In my anger, I seem to have marched us back outside again. So it is probably best we leave the island altogether. I believe we've worn out our welcome in Yulmore. In any case, I've seen enough of this world's self-proclaimed capital city to convince me that a battle against the Sin Eaters will find new allies in Kalusia. or will find few allies. I will accompany you back to the Crystarium. We need to regroup and think on our strategy anew. Kaishir, I have done you a grave disservice. You were hungry and desperate, and I offered you a solution without once considering the risks inherent in you accepting it. If I had known the price you would be made to pay. You gave me everything I needed to make your idea work. It was me who made a mess of things, not you. But even after all the trouble I caused, you still stepped in and saved me. And now Lord Vothry wants us all dead. Why not come back with us to the Crystarium? I'm certain we can find work for you there, if you are willing. No, that would just be me leaning on your kindness again. I need to do some thinking. Learn how to stand on my own 2 feet. Alright then. Very well. But you must promise you'll be careful. The Yulmorans may yet come looking for us. I'll keep my head down, don't worry. And you take care too. Give me the chance to repay what you've done for me. Kaishir is one of the custom deliveries later. Helfina. Lord and Lady Chai. What in the blazes did you do? To have the entire city looking for you? I took a peek at your unfinished portrait, Elfino. How I've had many a beautiful and striking picture painted for me. But there was something about your work. It was as if you had caught the very essence of our love and rendered it naked upon the canvas. It was bold, unflinching, and I adored it. Please, you must come back with us and finish what you began. I will speak with Lord Vothry and vouch for your character. I'm sure we can smooth over any hard feelings. I am sorry, Lady Chai. There are more important matters to which I must attend. More important? What could be more important than enjoying the days we have left to us to the fullest? Pray, press me no further. We are leaving. But I would not presume to take the garments you were so kind to procure for me. One moment. I wouldn't hear of it. Keep the clothes, you silly boy. I insist. I shall make arrangements so that you can pass through the gate without causing a stir. I expect you to come and visit. I will return, I promise you that. The outrage I witnessed must not go unanswered. The next time we meet, I shall be prepared to confront the corruption which hides behind the glittering facade. I love her. Friggin', you know, like, Elfino caused such a problem. And Julia Chai is just like, boy, you better come on back. Like, you're fantastic. Like, I don't forget. You could have killed a guy and I would still, like, take you back, you know? It's like, she's so sweet and kind-hearted and, like, I love her. Freaking Julia Chai. Like, there's a reason that people view freaking Julia Chai as one of the best NPCs in the game. You know? Thank you, my friend, for staying at my side through this whole sordid endeavor. Whilst not quite the joyous outcome I had hoped for, our efforts have nevertheless answered a great many questions. Suffice it to say, our plans for saving the First are unlikely to involve the aid of Lord Vothry and his subjects. Come, we must speak with the Exarch and chart a new course. This is far from over. But what if they do? What if? You know? Like, what if it still involves him? The docile gate. I think that's right. Anyway, docile. Docile. Is one of a number of terms for something rising from the back of a church altar. The meaning of docile is an ornamental cloth hung behind and above an altar. Huh. Alright. So how does that pertain to the gate then? You have business with the Crystal Exarch. To say the word, and I would be happy to escort you to the ocular. Yes. So normally you'd be able to do both quests, and so you'd have Elfino here and you'd have Alice here at this point, because you would have been able to go and do both. But this is New Game Plus. It is good to be back amongst friends. In such company I can finally turn my thoughts to the future. But ere we discuss all we have learned, begin planning our next step, I think it best that you visit Alice. Her familiarity with Armorang will no doubt provide us invaluable insight. And besides, I know she is eager to see you as I was. Bring a smile to her face, Rin. Which, that line is really funny if Alice is standing right there. Crystal Exarch is eager for you to meet with Alice. New outfit for Alice. Ready to depart for Armorang. Alice will be overjoyed to see you safe. I know she was particularly concerned for your well-being. She, impressed upon me how regrettable the timing of her summoning was. Repeatedly. Poor Crystal Exarch. I only hope that my part in sending you to her will garner me some measure of forgiveness. Here, this is a letter of introduction addressed to a man named Cassard, the master of a merchant caravan. There are few who know the ways of the desert as well as he does. Find him at the Amaro launch, and he will see that you reach your destination. Also, this room is extremely important. But we won't see that till patch content. Heck, I'm not even sure if we see it during patch content. I think that may have only shown up at freaking in Endwalker. If I'm remembering right. But I also might not be remembering right, which is also fine. So. Hi, Cassard. Come looking for work. I might have a spot for another guard. A wax-sealed envelope addressed to Cassard. Oh, friend of the Exarch. Hoping to meet someone in Armorang, are you? Then I shall be your guide. I was about to set off for the outpost there, as a matter of fact. So we can leave right away, assuming you have everything you need. All set? Then off to the unforgiving sands we go. You now travel to Armorang. Speak with the Adroit Amaro Tamer to fly to the desert. I will say, Vothri's voice, it was way better than I thought.
From this parched earth, the nation of Nabath Arang once rose.
Nabath Arang.
When I journeyed here, long ago, I spoke with a sun-weathered elder. He told me Armorang meant majestic land in the language of his people.
Also, for those
So it
who...
might still be, were it not for the light's unrelenting onslaught.
Orang. For those who maybe watched the Eden stuff, and I guess, I don't know, maybe you haven't played Shadowbringers for some reason? Freaking, seriously? Freaking, it's free! Go play FF14. Freaking, you can play all the way up to and through this very story for free on the free trial. Like, seriously. Ugh, no matter how many times I come here, the heat never fails to catch me off guard. Don't be surprised when the temperature drops at night, though. The sky is still bright, of course, but it gets brisk enough to make you shiver. Now, the Exarch's letter said I was to take you to the inn at Journey's Head, which is where this Alice friend of yours is staying. But that's a fair old distance, so I propose we make a stop in Mord Sock to break up the trek, allowing me to attend to some business, and you to enjoy the local hospitality. Sound good? Good. Alright, you lot. I'm off. I better not see the goods covered in sand when I get back. Right, we head southwest, straight as an arrow. For those who maybe haven't played through this, the really cool part of this area is you get to see the edge of the world. Maybe not yet. Like, we have to get further into the story. But later. Stop here for a moment. This is your first visit to Almarang, is it not? Before you cross the River of Sand, you need to turn around and feast your eyes on that. You mean on that, I assume? Yes. On that. The giant freaking city. They built them big, didn't they? That's Kassar Sharl, fortress meant to protect the northern reaches of Naboth Orang. Why is this Orang spelled different than the other Orang? Seeing what was left behind, I believe it when they say that it was once one of Norvant's mightiest nations. At least until the flood came along, great chunks of Naboth Orang's land were lost to the light, its great city included. The few who survived didn't see much point in staying. Most of them, anyway. No, not many choose to come here these days. Not with everything in ruins. Even that great hulking fortress has become little more than an Amaro roost for me and my caravan. But not everywhere is as deserted as this place. Just wait until you see Mord Sock. Let's press on, shall we? But seriously, this exact story is currently available to play for free. No purchase necessary. No sub required. Literally, you can play from the beginning of Realm Reborn to the up to and beyond this story that we are currently in. Or I guess I should say up to and through this story, because it only goes up to Endwalker. But technically there is beyond because of the post-patch. The post-expansion patches. Which is also good. Here we are, Mord Sock. By the blessed shadow, I love this town. City of the Mord. Cassard stands at the entrance to Mord Sock, an eager smile on his face. Mord Sock. Not just full of Mord, but humans and all manner of others too. Has long been a refuge for folk displaced by the flood, so the population is nothing if not diverse. Oh, have you met a Mord before? They might look like shifty little blighters, but a more welcoming lot you could never wish to meet. Speaking of which, we should pay our respects to Master Gengen. I'll go ahead and let him know we've arrived. It's a Mord. That's a Mord. I believe they're kobolds. From, like, I believe that in the, on the source, they are kobolds. Here's Shan. There are goblins, but they're a different band of creature. I just don't remember. But I believe these are kobolds. Oh, I've been here before with the Amaro, to get the Amaro Keep. That makes sense. This is where the Eden quest begins, so I would have come here. And I probably have even been to the inn area, now that I think about it. I know I've been there, but I mean, like, I've probably picked up the Amaro Keep there, too. Gengen! That's my Mord voice impression. That's a kobold, I was right. So, this is a Mord?
Master Gengen, this is the friend of the Exarch I was telling you about.
Very good,
I know that
good.
voice.
Though friend or no, all are welcome in Mord's.
That was
Souk
not
is
the
Mord's
voice I
for
expected.
city. As things stand, this souk boasts the largest and busiest
Souk?
marketplace in all Armorang.
Souk.
You'll find ore from the mines here, of course, but all manner of other things too. Many of them rare.
Mord Souk. Okay. I mean, I played through this in Japanese. I don't know Japanese. But also, they pronounce things different in Japanese either way. So, like, I wouldn't have picked out the Mord Souk in the Japanese to begin with. But also, friggin', I know this voice. What the frick? Whose voice is this? I know this voice.
As I told you before, not many visit Armorang by choice, but Mord Souk's a different story. Merchants come from miles around to purchase the relics the Mord dig up.
Aye, that they do. For Mord do not dismiss the spoils of the earth. We clean them and polish them and reveal to the world their true value.
Hang on. Does the wiki, like, list voice actors? Anthony Byrne? Maybe I don't know that name. Maybe I'm just... Maybe he sounds like somebody else. I mean, yeah, he's Cassard and Biggs in Shadowbringers. He's Ilberd as well. I know none of these other things that he has done. Nope, I apparently do not know this person. He must just sound like somebody else. And I don't know who he sounds like. Because I'm looking through his resume and I recognize literally none of these games. Or movies, or whatever most of these are. It looks like most of them are well, no, some of these are movies. Royal Shakespeare Company, Jericho, those are movies. Heaven's Word, He's Biggs and Ilberd. I know none of this stuff. So yeah, I guess I don't know this person at all because none of these are familiar to me. He must just sound like somebody. I have an idea who it might be. That he sounds like. Yeah. I was going to say, he does kind of sound a little like Tim Curry. I couldn't remember the guy's name. That's why I didn't say it. But I just looked him up. And yeah, he does sound a little like Tim Curry. At least my, like, what I'm, like, thinking of as Tim Curry. So, while I'm looking at this up, what about Gengen? Nigel Pilkington. Freaking who? I definitely don't recognize that name. Yeah, these are all English voice actors. From freaking... I mean, these are all, like, British voice actors. That's what I was trying to say. Travis from Xenoblade Chronicles 3? I don't remember who that is. But I watched the game. I watched somebody play through that, so I would have heard him in that. He also did Tansui in Stormblood. And he did Papalimo. Okay. Not that I would recognize him as Papalimo because I stopped playing with the English voice acting before the voice acting switch in Realm Reborn. So Nigel Pilkington. I have no idea who that is either.
That is why they come here. Come from far away. Come with much money. And so Arsuk is always busy, busy, busy. No such thing as a thing no one needs.
You say that every time, Master Gengen. Some sort of family motto, wasn't it? Or perhaps a Maud philosophy, for which we should all be very grateful. Would that everyone was so willing to take in refugees regardless of race or creed.
He does sound a lot like Tim Curry, at least from my memory of what Tim Curry sounds like.
Now then, if you intend to spend any time here, you'll want to gain the trust of the locals.
What's funny is, this is the voice that I would have assumed Emmett Selk would have in English if they had like based it off of the Japanese voice. 'Cause that's roughly what he sounds like in the Japanese. Like, he's got that kind of voice in the Japanese.
And there's a little custom all newcomers are expected to observe.
At least from what I recall.
The cracking of the coin purse. You buy one thing from the market. Price can be low or high, just as long as you buy.
As the good Maud says. In fact, the Exarch sent a little something to cover this very expense. A Verbert gold piece, no less. The first I've held in years.
Robert gold piece. Wow.
Verbert gold? Real Verbert gold? Take your coin purse with me.
Oh no, you want my goods, newcomer? I have jars and pots all smooth and shiny. Over here!
Come and look.
You buy, you buy?
Like, I've got one gold piece,
Come, I
people.
say. This one must still journey through the barrens. Nothing bulky, nothing heavy, no pots. Nothing better for the road than a full belly. Spend that piece at Ronron's place, yes? Eat for 3 before you leave.
They're all like, oh man, freaking Wilbert Goldpiece. I mean, knowing, you know, the way that, you know, we use Alagon silver pieces, and you can turn them in for like 500 gold? Or 500 gil? Like, I would not be surprised if a Vobert gold piece is worth like several thousand gil in this case. Hi, Ronron. Welcome to Ronron, traveler. I have wares to empty your purse and fill your belly. Take your time. Stare and sniff before you choose. But no drilling on the merchandise, yes? Browse Ronron's wares. You may move the camera as well as zoom in and out. Inspect the foodstuffs with the button. So yes, they added this in, I think you use this in Stormblood, like post-patch. I don't think they had done this in Stormblood itself. Maybe they did. But whatever the case, like, they really were just like, we're going to use this a lot now. It's kind of like how Dawn Trail added the thing where you, like, stop and look at, like, a large section, and you, like, can click on the individual things. And, like, they just added that as a mechanic in the game, and so they used it everywhere in Dawn Trail. Like, this is that mechanic, you know. Silly customer, you cannot eat Ronron, not even for a Vobert gold piece. Oh, you like those? Chewy skewers. Find small frogs hiding under rocks. Spear with stick, then roast over fire. Crackly on the outside, gooey on the inside. Perfect for snacking. That's my ever-burning bounty, made with the best parts of the lizard, cured with specially spicy spices. Some find the smell challenging, but they'll warm you up on chilly desert nights. Bread. I call that mush loaf. The middle is stuffed with bittersweet cactus fruits, so even if the bread dries out, it's still moist inside. Keeps you going in the heat. The worms. Everyone's favorite. Plump white worms slathered in honey. Once you eat a Grelay Smiggler, you'll never want any other treat. They all look tasty, yes? Which to choose? Which to choose? None of them sound appealing. I'll go with the mush loaf. It's, the one that doesn't have meat. Very wise. You won't wither on the sand with a gut full of cactus fruit filling. You have the gold? Here's your Vobert gold piece. And done. One Vobertite honor buys you 40 loaves of bread. Like I said, it's probably worth like several thousand gil if I had to guess. If we can buying 40 loaves of bread with one gold piece. Bruh, I just ate freaking 40 loaves of bread. Every last mouthful. What an appetite, what a belly! A new legend is born in Mordsuk. Mordsuk, rather. Consider your coin purse cracked. I am pleased to accept your custom, and Gengen will be pleased that you honored ours. There's so much bread. You bring the merchandise down, yes? That returns. I mean, admittedly, they're not loaves like what you would see, you know, like bread-wise in our world. They're more like, you know, pancakes or patties. Or I guess tortillas, even. But that's still 40 freaking tortillas. You know? But yeah, that's the one that doesn't have meat, so I picked that one. So, I don't eat meat. Like, if people are confused. Like, IRL me, I don't eat meat. So. I was watching from here, Rin. You honored our custom, and with great relish. You'll always be welcome in Mordsuk. If you need anything in Amarang, we are here to provide. Kessard is impressed by your gastronomic fortitude. Wahaha! You have courage, my friend. Onron's wares are more exotic than harmful, but I don't envy you the bellyache you'll have on the morrow. Right, now that you've eaten, I expect you're eager to get back on the road. Would you mind if we delayed our departure a touch? I have a few details left to close before I can conclude my business here in Mordsuk. Souk, like soup. Oh, offering your services, are you? Aye, well, an assistant would certainly help hurry things along. I have a receipt here for some goods that need picking up from the market. All properly paid for. You just need to do the lifting and carrying. I'll go and take care of some last-minute haggling then. See you in a bit. You may view the market receipt at any time during the quest by using the relevant item in the key items menu. Table cactus, Thonton, and iron ore from Tholtol. Nabath Orang Antiques Mill to be collected from Mulmul. So here's Bun Bun. Here he has a chest of perishables. We're not looking for him. This is why you have to look at the receipt, by the way. Because they will let you interact with everything. You just have to find the people that you're looking for. Here's Ron. He's got leather. I'm not after leather. Here's a Mord Culinarian. He doesn't have anything. Here's Zin. He doesn't have anything either. Here's Lotgar. He has a stack of crated armaments. That's not what I'm looking for. Here's Shanchan. He's a merchant, but he doesn't have anything. There's Gingen again. Ah, Tholtol. Now then, what was I doing again? Kessler sent you, did he? Right, yes. What kind of ore was it again? Iron ore. Iron ore, of course. That would explain this box I have here. It's all yours. Once again, a good idea to look at the actual receipt. So, Thonton, Cactus, and Mulmul, Antiques. Nabath Orang, Antiques, specifically, in case it says something. Here's Mill, who has full water jar, but that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for Mulmul. Because Momo is the one that has the items. Mill is just the one that we bought the items from. Okay, I'm gonna hop on a mount. Because I actually don't know where any of these guys are. But I've kind of like run around everywhere at this point. So clearly I have missed the characters I'm looking for. There's a Mordsuk guard. Sook. Like soup. Phil. Or was it Thulsul? No. We already did that guy. But this is Momo. A box of antiquities. We're after some Naboth Orang antiques. Hey, no touching. The merchandise is spoken for. You could possibly change my mind with a better offer. What? Cassard sent you? But why didn't you say so? Wouldn't dream of selling his goods to a higher bidder. Oh, no. The Butherang relics, wasn't it? I'll factor that box there. Handle with care. That one we actually didn't need to know. Yes, Thonton, right? Meow? Thonton. Table cactus. Yeah, that's Nanico. You came in with Cassard, yes? Good. You can finally stop thinking about that sack. Please take her prickly purchase. Whee! You can tell that it's a lot faster to fly. At least, unless you have all of the riding maps. So, whoops. And tell me you've been around the entire market already. Mordsuk merchandise, a collection of goods Cassard ordered from the merchants of Mordsuk. Aye, that's a lot, alright. Good work. And quick work, too, considering you've not set foot in the place before. I thought you wanted to sit in the city like the Exarch. Something tells me you're not a stranger to visiting strange lands. Unfortunately, your efficiency presents something of a problem. I had hoped to conclude all my business before you returned. There seems to have been some confusion over one of the orders I placed. I'll have to drag in my middleman and sort this mess out. Sorry to make you sit around and twiddle your thumbs. Cassard, feels like an age since I last saw you. Oh, snap! Well, if it isn't the lovely Tesleen. It has been a while, but your timing couldn't be better. This lady was on her way to meet with Alice. I'm supposed to be taking her to your corner of the desert, and a misplaced order has commandeered my attention. Wait, I know who you are. Alice has told me so much about you. You're Rin, aren't you? Huh? How'd you know? I knew it. How wonderful to meet you in the flesh after hearing all those stories. Has she described how attractive I am then? I'm Tesleen. I work as a carer at the inn, and I've gotten to know Alice quite well since she took up guard duties there. Do you want me to take over as Rin's guide, Cassard? My shopping's all done and packed for the road, so it would be no trouble. That would be a great help, thank you. Well, looks like you'll be able to head straight out after all. My caravan and I will be in the area for a while yet. Seek me out when you've had your fill of Armorang, and I'll send you back to the Crystarium. Okie dokie. It's Tesleen. Tesleen is eager to set off. A desert crossing. Alice has been desperate to see you, Rin. So let's get you to her sooner rather than later. Dian isn't too hard to find, really. You can actually see the top of the rock spires from here. We just need to swing around the ridge, then head south. Come on, I'll get my supplies together and meet you outside. Also, it's a good thing that I'm wearing, you know, a good outfit for the desert. Maybe? I don't know. Some would say, like, I have heard that it's, like, better to wear, like, this kind of outfit than something like this, so I don't know. All set? Oh, I should probably mention the wildlife. While most of them will leave you be if you keep your distance, the local coyotes have learned to prey on folk heading home from the markets. I can usually swing a sword well enough to fend them off, but I may have loaded myself down with too many bargains today. Do you think you could handle any beast to try to make a meal of us? Sure. I thought you might. Alice was always saying how much you, let's get going, shall we? And if this was Endwalker, we would absolutely have Tesleen follow us. And we would stop at certain spots. And in those spots is where I would have the encounters. Instead of, you know, this system. But it's fine. Like, again, that technology wasn't added until Endwalker, so. Really? Does that not give experience? These, like, quest fights? Sorry, there wasn't much time to shout a warning. Were you bitten? Those things can be nasty. And yet, hardly a match for you, it seems. I always thought Alice was strong, but in her mind, she was never... now it makes sense. Well, you should push on. Might be best if you scout ahead and clear out any coyotes that have our scent. I'll wait here so you can fight without any distractions. Okie dokie, Loki. Let me just fly over these guys so that they don't aggro to me. Alright, well, I mean, freaking whatever. If they want to fight, then I can fight them. I was just kind of hoping to avoid it. It's fine. This does give me some experience. And I have gotten literally nothing since we started this. What? 2 episodes ago. This is episode 3. Freaking 5 hours ago. Because we're an hour in, and the first one and the second one were both 2 hours. So, freaking 5 hours in, I've gotten no experience. But I did expect that that might happen. Because again, it's New Game Plus. I'm not getting the quest experience, so I'm really only going to get the experience from the combat. And I'm not even sure if I'm going to get that, it looks like. So I might have to consider keeping up in, like, a couple of dungeons here or there. Like, I might have to do a couple of dungeons. Well, I will get experience from the dungeons, I suppose. So that won't be too bad. Oh, thank goodness you're back. I can hear the howling and snarling from here. Frightful creatures. Let's hope the rest have seen your handiwork and know to avoid us now. I need to get these supplies back to the inn. And there it is. There's the inn. Again, normally you wouldn't have flight, but it's fine. Yeah, you run away. This is it. Thanks to you, I didn't have to drop my shopping even once. Come to think of it, I'm glad I didn't make the trip alone. It seems you ended up escorting me. I'll have to repay the favor somehow, but first, let's head inside, shall we? Hello, Tesleen. All I will say is there is a scene in this quest line that people will tell you is the welcome to Shadowbringers scene. And it does involve her. Welcome to the inn at Journey's Head. You may be our first visitor from the Crystarium since Alisay arrived. It's not much, but it's home for the afflicted and a handful of carers. The afflicted? This isn't contagious, is it? Oh, you don't know? I don't think I've met anyone besides Alisay who is so unfamiliar with our situation here. Most folk have grown up knowing someone who knew someone. I might leave out something obvious, so it may be best to have Alisay give you the full explanation. Sure. Just point me in the direction of Alisay. How did they get up there to put those in, though? Solitude Pale Seed. Alright. Interesting name. Following in her footprints, Tesleen casts her gaze around the inn, hoping to spot Alisay. That's an ominous picture for the quest line. Now, where is she? I think she might be out on patrol. You could wait, I suppose. But why not go and surprise her? She usually takes a look at things from the watchtower first, so you might be able to catch her there. It's not far. Head out the south side and you'll soon see it. I'll stay behind in case she comes back while you're gone. I had to just toss some food into the cat bowl. Since I'm not streaming, since this is a pre-record, I figured I could just hit the pause real quick. You can't actually go up the tower, but if you do have flight, you can come up here. And I think when you unlock sightseeing, I think there's a thing up here. But also, look at that. Like, look at that. Before I grab this, I'm just going to fly over here for a second. Because, this is how we get to the empty in the Eden quests. And, well, as you can see, it's not called the empty for no reason. That's a lot of nothing out there. You can only see that view, though, through flight. because this area here is like as high up as you can get without it. See, you can't get up this. But once you've unlocked flight, you can fly on up and get into this little crack here. And this is as high as you can go as well. Yeah! It's not called the Empty for no reason. There is nothing out there. Whoop. I need to go away. I need to go over here, actually. But yeah, I'm not supposed to be able to get here yet to begin with. You're only supposed to be able to get to this section by coming through this side. And that's later on in the quest line. Or not even the quest line, but like, that's like the level 76 area, I think. Because I think that actually leads you to one of the dungeons. That's level 77, I want to say. Alcei is nowhere to be seen, but you spot fresh footprints on the ground, and they look to be the right size. Set of small footprints leading that way. And there's a set of footprints over here. They continue to the northwest. I knew I was going to aggro these guys. It's fine. They're not particularly difficult. I am, you know, a few levels over them, so... But I'm definitely going to aggro those guys over there as well. The only problem with doing this with Dancer is that Dancer is not exactly a strong class. Even though I'm, you know, 2 levels higher. So, it's not exactly a strong class. And footprints go that way. They curve around to the west. Unfortunately, one of the problems that I have with FF14 is that FF14 basically says you're a support class for all of their physical range classes, which is funny because Machinist is not a support class at all, have like no support abilities, but they're all like slightly weaker than other classes because they're meant to be a support class. Like your attacks don't do nearly as much. You don't do nearly as much DPS as, say, a monk or a reaper or, you know, any of the physical class, you know. As much, you don't do as much damage as any of the, like, melee classes. Huh. That's a tangled web of footprints. There are more tracks here, but they end in a mess of disturbed sand. Oh, it's a Sin Eater. Whee!
Is that... It can't be.
Wow, she skipped an entire freaking skill. Impressive.
Just a lesser Sin Eater. Nothing to write home about. I knew you'd turn up sooner or later, but I had been hoping for sooner. How are you?
It's LSA. Also, I'm really confused about my headset that I'm currently using.
We've fought them to a standstill then.
Because I'm starting to realize that the right ear of my headphones keeps sliding backwards. And I know that it's the right ear specifically because of, like, how I have to fix it. Like, yes, it's pulling, like, the entire, like, headphones back, but it's doing it, like, unevenly. Like, the left side is still staying mostly in place, but the right side keeps sliding backwards. And so it goes, like, diagonal on my head for a bit. I keep having to, like, adjust it every, like, 20-30 minutes. I don't know why. It's very strange. It's like the right side of my headphones doesn't want to stay where my ear is for some reason, and I don't know why. I was adjusting my headphones during that. It's part of why I was not doing anything.
But without knowing for sure how fast time was passing there, I couldn't help worrying that a lot might have happened since then. I'm heartily relieved to hear that it hasn't, just as Alphino must have been. As you can imagine, both he and Urianger were desperate to hear the news from home when I arrived. I haven't actually seen Thancred and Y'shtola yet, but they will have heard all the latest developments from the Exarch by now, or should have at least. When I think of how frantic Tataru and the others must be, I want nothing more than to rush back and reassure them. But we still haven't found a way to reverse the summoning. And even if we had, we couldn't just ignore Urianger's vision. He may use 10 words where one would suffice, and they may often obscure as much as they reveal. But on this matter, he was as clear as day. I do not doubt for one moment that he saw what he claims. Nor how difficult it must have been to speak about them. The 8th Umbral Calamity and your death aren't exactly topics for idle conversation. As much as I might want to go home, I don't want to go home to that. We can't allow the rejoining to happen, which means we have to save the first from the Sin Eaters.
Right.
That great wall of white is a remnant of the Flood. 100 years ago, the balance in the First tipped decisively in favor of light. From that moment, it rose and swelled with each passing day, and then, without warning, it burst forth like water from a broken dam. a colossal wave of pure light, drowning everything in its wake. Only Norvrent was spared. For the most part, living things are composed of ether of various different aspects. But when exposed to such a flood, their etheric harmony is shattered, and their natural form breaks down. Then they either perish, or are warped into mindless abominations. Yes, that's how the Sin Eaters came to be. They were once living creatures, or people, that were caught in the path of the flood. Once the change is wrought, there is no going back. In that instant, they are gripped by an insatiable appetite for ether, and will happily gorge themselves on any living thing within reach. But even that is not the worst of it. The stronger Sin Eaters can plant light in us, like seeds in soil, corrupting our ether, and triggering the birth of new monstrosities.
Yeesh.
They are creatures of base instinct, that exist only to feed and to multiply. They feel no pity, know no remorse, and are utterly deaf to reason. Which is why they must be destroyed. Every last one of them. The infirmary is full of the Sin Eaters' victims, left here to spend their final hours waiting for the change to overtake them.
Yeesh. It's just a matter of time. More for some, less for others. Those patients will all become monsters in the end. And to add insult to injury, the afflicted are feared, shunned, cast out of society, and exiled here to the edge of the world. The only good thing I have to say about this hellish place is that it has served me well as a training ground. Tesleen and the others have also been kind enough to share their knowledge of the Sin Eaters, which is knowledge I can now share with you, while you help me finish my patrol, of course. Calling their ranks, Alcé would have you help her finish her patrol. Here's what we'll do. I'll take the east side of the inn, and you clear the west. That way you can have an undiluted experience with the resident terrors. These marks on your map are where the usual trouble spots are. You can assume that any beast with a white hide or carapace is a Sin Eater, but you'll know for sure soon enough when they come slathering after your ether. Remember, it's kill or be killed with these monsters. Once you've slain whatever's prowling around out there, you can rendezvous back at the north entrance. Good hunting. Whee! That's a hostile presence. Forgiven cowardice. So far, I think these are literally the only Sin Eaters we run into. Is forgiven cowardice. I mean, you know, luckily they're not particularly difficult to defeat. I'm just kind of surprised that we haven't seen any of the others. Because there's plenty of other types of Sin Eaters. Also, I keep forgetting they've made it so that you can, like, walk and mount at the same time now. So, like, I could start moving and then mount. Yep, and another coward. Forgiven cowardice. And yeah, all of the Sin Eaters are like this. At least all of the, like, you know, minion type Sin Eaters. The, like, really strong ones have, like, names. But all of the, like, unnamed ones, like these guys, are all forgiven something. And I actually, it's really funny because there's one called Forgiven Violence. And I always joke, yeah, it's called Forgiven Violence. And it's beating the crap out of me. It sure is violent for, you know, being called Forgiven Violence. How did you fare? Ah, thought there might be one or two lurking on the fringes. Nothing out of the ordinary for this area. I expect you noticed it yourself, but individually these Sin Eaters are no more deadly than any natural predator you might encounter in the desert. It's when they appear in numbers that they pose a threat. Much like the Void Sense, they have an unfortunate tendency to flock to the strongest of their kind. Thus, when a powerful Sin Eater goes on a hunt, it might be attended by a veritable swarm of weaker kin. Imagine an army of such creatures descending on a village or hamlet. That's the basic idea behind my patrols. To cull their ranks often enough that the numbers won't be overwhelming when the big ones come out to play. And you've certainly helped on that front. Let's report our victories to Tesleen, shall we? Hi, Tesleen. She's such a cute character, though, isn't she? Like, she's so pretty. Elisay tells me that you helped out on her patrol. You have our thanks, and my apologies for leading you from one bell to another ever since the moment we met. In any case, I'm glad to see the two of you found each other. You have no idea how badly Elisay has missed your company. Everything is always, if Rin were here, she would... That's an exaggeration, and I don't sound like that either. I'm simply trying to view matters from another perspective, and I respect Rin's methods. Honestly, after seeing her in action, I can understand why. The way she leaps into the fray without hesitation, it really is something to behold. I might be a little smitten myself. I'm only teasing. I've no doubt she deserves all the admiration she gets, just as you do. A purchase of fruit. Tesleen had the air of a woman being pulled in 10 directions at once. I'd love to lay out a welcome meal, but the duties I put off when I went to the market are still waiting for me. Hark! There are 101 things that need doing. I'm sorry, but would you mind waiting here with Elisay? What, and twiddle our thumbs while you work yourself to death? Surely there's something we can help with. I could do with a hand, it's true. Thank you. You can start by helping me sort out the larder, Elisay. While we do that, could you tend to a few patients, perhaps? There are 3 in particular I mean to visit. Just a matter of saying a few words to them and seeing that their skin isn't caked in sand. The names are Ponel, Toden, and Halric. They may not give much in the way of a response, but I promise they'll be pleased to meet someone new. You mean these 3 right over here? Ponel, Toden, and Halric. Hi, Ponel. Thank you. Hi, Toden. Toden glances up at you blankly, but you notice the tension in his face ease slightly. Hi, Halric. Look at this guy. Oh man. Sorry, I just know where we are. Ulrich remains utterly still as he wiped the sand from his cheek. The texture of his skin has hardened into something akin to plaster. He's not moving, he's not reacting. Like, he's so still that sand is literally gathering on his body. Your work is done, then. You've seen to the patients. How are they? Good. That's good. I knew they would enjoy meeting you. I am concerned about Ulrich, though. I'll have to speak with the other carers, but I think his time may be near. Shall I leave you to have that discussion, then? I was going to take Rin to Mordsuk, if you have any errands there that need doing. Well, I suppose there is one thing. Would you pick up a nectarine from the markets, please? Cassard's caravan just passed through, so Ronron should have some fresh fruit. Come then, Rin. Something I want you to see. Right after we stop at Ronron's stall, of course. Back to Mordsuk. Also, what the frick mount was that? And normally you'd have to make your way all the way around. But luckily, because we have done the story skip and are on New Game Plus version, we can just fly. Which is nice. But I wouldn't have been opposed, you know. Let's see about that nectarine, shall we? Hi, Ron. Oh, back again, are you? You need another taste of Ronron's wares? Actually, we're looking to buy a nectarine. Do you have any in stock? Oh, yes. Nectarines, peaches, grapes, fresh and juicy. Given how richly you cracked your coin purse with me, I might still owe you food. Here, take this one, free of charge. Gods, I've never seen a mod merchant give away something for nothing before. How much coin did you spend here? Oh, yes, I'll take a jar of honeyed worms as well. What? Oh, no, they're not for me. It's an offering of sorts. The worms, if you please. Only the best figures for you. Come again, my friends. Right, that's our shopping chores taken care of. Let's head up past the Aetheryte to the main tower. The view I want to show you can only be seen from its very top. The main tower. What? Meow? Meow? What? My mom's cat is meowing. Mordsuk, you need something? Here are your precious worms. That buys the trip to the top of the tower, does it not? Lace Wrigglers! You actually brought them. I really shouldn't let you, but just this once. Alright, all at once. Never fails, shall we? Sounds like she's done this multiple times, not just once.
Look, Over there, where the wall is broken.
Oh, I forgot that they actually show you here.
Do you see what lies beyond?
The empty.
That's what the land became after the light flooded in. An empty white nothingness. Life cannot exist in such conditions. The primordial light would wreak havoc on the body's etheric balance. That nectarine you bought. It's Halric's favorite fruit.
Huh?
Most of the patients, Halric included, survived the attacks of powerful eaters. But their fate was sealed all the same. The monster's corruption has entered their bodies, and their very essence is being subsumed by light. The twisted state of the world itself just makes matters worse. Under normal circumstances, a person's ether naturally tends to equilibrium. But for these poor souls, the opposite is true. Sooner or later, every single one of them will turn. Tesleen and the patients, they all know this. They know what has to be done before the change goes too far, before the eater within takes over. The preferred method is mixing poison into their favorite food. In my time here, I've borne witness to a lot of last meals. I feel just as helpless as before. No matter how hard I fight, it's never enough. But it's a war I mean to wage, nonetheless. Speaking of wars, do you remember how I made you promise not to leave me and then promptly collapse?
I made you promise not to leave me the promptly collapse, right?
Well, let's just say I had a few choice words for the Exarch concerning the timing of his summons. But even if the fault lay with someone else, I couldn't shake the feeling that I'd abandon you on the battlefield. So I swore that I'd make up for my absence there by making a difference here. And that's what keeps me moving forward, even when things seem hopeless. On which note, it's time we headed back. The longer we keep Tesleen waiting, the harder this will be for her.
I'm glad I was able to show you that. When it comes to understanding the catastrophe which befell the first, one glimpse of the empty wasteland beyond the wall was worth more than an hour of Urianger's lecturing. And I needed you to know beyond a doubt that Tesleen has no other choice. The nectarine will be a kindness. It isn't just the threat posed to others. When a person becomes an eater, the pain appears to be excruciating. The carers are truly fond of their wards, and would spare them that suffering, as their way of fighting back against a fate worse than death. It sucks. Like, it sucks, dude. And there's just nothing you can do about it, you know? Like, once a person's ether is tainted, there's just nothing that can be done like that. There's nothing that can be done about it. Go ahead. I think she's been waiting for us. You're back. Hope you had a nice time. Did you manage to find a nectarine? A plump, sweet-smelling nectarine. Thank you. Alisaie's explained why I wanted this, has she? I can see it in your eyes. But we may not need it just yet. I spoke to the others, and we've decided to keep an eye on Ulrich for now. Thanks to you, though, if his time does come suddenly, I'll be ready to send him on his way with a taste of happier days. The time left to us. Tesleen makes an effort to smile brightly. Well, nothing is going to happen for a little while yet, so let's see if we can't lighten the mood. Don't want our gloomy faces worrying the patients. I think it's time for that welcome meal, don't you? Take a seat, and I'll make us a nice stew.
Speak up if you'd like another helping. I made a little bit more than usual today.
And you've added something special to the broth, if I'm not mistaken.
Aye, well, it's not often we have visitors from the Crystarium, so I may have thrown in a few extra bits and bobs.
You needn't have gone to the trouble. I'll have another bowl then.
That's what I like to hear. Give me a moment to warm up the pot.
Is it not already warmed up since it's sitting on the campfire? It's literally sitting on the campfire?
You learn to take what moments of happiness you can get. I remember when I first came here with my mother. She was showing the early signs. I knew there was no way to save her, but I just couldn't face what needed to be done. That's the way of it for most people. Why they travel from arms to stay here. Beaten, broken souls come to wait out the inevitable, to receive the mercy of a painless death. When my mother finally left this world, I was mad with grief, but also thankful that her passing was a peaceful one. It's never easy, ending a life you've cared for, even when you believe they go on to a better place. I often find myself wishing the Warrior of Darkness would come and do that part for me.
The Warrior of Darkness?
You've never heard the tale? I'm not sure where it began, but every child in Norvrent could tell you a version of it. Warrior of Darkness, servant of death, take care of our souls at our dying breath. Let sinners and eaters of sin go with thee, that all may return to the sunless sea. Well, that's the version I was taught anyway. It's just an old bedtime story. He's certainly never deigned to visit us here.
Which is a good thing, surely. He sounds rather ominous.
Do you think so? I always liked the idea that he treated every soul the same. Even the Sin Eaters.
That's not good.
They're coming.
Tesleen! Have you seen Ulrich? I swear, I only took my eyes off him for a moment.
Uh-oh. Something's not good here. This is my fault. Patients were acting strangely and they let distract me. Where could he have gone? Rin, Elisei, we have to go look for Ulrich. Don't know what's gotten into him, but if he's wandering out there alone. We'll assign search areas and split up. Any idea where he might be headed? No, he's never done anything like this before. But it can't be a coincidence that the other patients are suddenly so agitated. They can sense something. In any case, let's keep the search close to the end. Hark isn't very sure on his feet. So he won't have gone far. I'll search the east side. Please, Ulrich, please be alright. I'll cover the north and west then. You take everything from here to the south. It's getting very close to Welcome to Shadowbringers time. We're definitely gonna hit it before I end this episode, so. See no sign of Ulrich. Maybe he went further west. I'm pretty sure it's part of this quest. So. You scan your surroundings, search of Ulrich, and suddenly find yourself under attack. Forgiven Folly! It's a new one! It's a scorpion! Saint Screen! Whoa, it just got dark. Okay. That was only for a second. I don't think that had anything to do with the quest. I think that was just... Because the weather cycle and everything does continue. Even in the instance, version of the world. So I think that was just something in the normal, weather cycle. But I just couldn't see, whatever it was because of the thing. Oh, boy.
Any sign of him?
Nothing.
No luck, then. But he surely can't have gone far. We should keep looking. The Sin Eaters are out in force, and if we don't find him soon, you can be sure they will. Did you see the size of that thing? It must be one of the nasty ones. Wherever it's going, it can only mean trouble. After it!
Definitely.
Is.
Ulrich.
Oh no! Ulrich!
Ooh! Nice!
We have to run! Leslie! No!
So, welcome to Shadowbringers.
We all deserve happiness, wherever we can find it. The time left to you is precious. No one should die in pain. Mother, I... No!
So, that just happened. Welcome to Shadowbringers. Yeah! That just happened. And that is the Welcome to Shadowbringers cutscene. It's so bad, dude. Oh my god. I'm sorry, Vin. I tried to tell the Karens what happened, but I can't be the shoulder they lean on. Not like this. It's just so unfair. The scene was always so cheery with the patients, telling them not to be scared, that there wouldn't be any pain. Of all the people in the world to suffer such a fate. I imagine you're just as shocked as the rest of us. So I appreciate what you're doing here. Me? I don't have the words. Without a body, we can't even give her a proper burial. And she cared about that sort of thing. About giving people the chance to say their goodbyes. Horik is as unresponsive as ever. He stands motionless, staring up into the sky where the Sin Eaters made their escape. Tears on the sands. Alice is lost in grief. Alice. Thank you. What you're doing, it means a lot to them, to me. Sorry to interrupt. We've realized we hadn't thanked you for rescuing Ulrich. You weren't hurt at all, were you? Hurt? It wasn't even a fight. I was too late, too slow, and I thought I could protect you. You can't blame yourself for things beyond your control. You brought Ulrich back safe and sound. No one could have done any more. I'm sorry, but I've come to a decision. I won't be continuing my role here. I hope you will forgive me for leaving you, and that you will delay Ulrich's last meal for as long as you possibly can. Not until it's too late, of course. Just give him what time you can. We always do. Of course, she would have done the same. Farewell, Ulrich. Keep Teslene's words close to your heart. Wait, you're leaving this very moment? I understand how you must feel, but surely this is a bit hasty. Do you even have anywhere to go? I have a destination in mind, yes, and a purpose. This damned delight, building without cease, is the reason we can't save those corrupted by the Eaters. But what if we corrected the balance? Even if it were only little by little, even if it took years, it would surely make things better. Now hold on there. Everyone knows there's too much light, but how could you ever hope to get rid of it? You'd have to change the whole world. That's right. We should return to the Crystarium. I may not be able to repel the Eaters on my own, but I can still use the skills I've gained here to hurt them. If you can't guess, like, yeah, that hurt me. Like, I don't even need to act to be, sad in that, for that whole thing. Like, that was all legit. In fact, I was trying to get around it, to not, So, I think it's time to return to the Crystarium then, based off the fact that I'm going in this direction. Look at those bones, though. What the frick? Like, what creature left those? Like, that's them some bones. It's like freaking it's like walking through the freaking desert in Breath of the Wild. Rin, good to see you again. Look like you've a story or two to tell, but I sense you'd sooner get back to the Crystarium. Forgive me, Rin, I couldn't stay there a moment longer. But I was serious about what I said. While the men and women at the end battle against this blight with kindness, I must fight it my own way, with steel. If I may orsy a sword in the darkness, To no event, Sword of the Lights. Gods above. Feels like an age ago now. Miss Alice, is there anything I can get you? Your swiftest tomorrow. Need to return to the Crystarium immediately. As you wish. Might be to wear goggles if we ever fly over Amarang again. I've barely gotten the sand out of my eyes. Sure, it's definitely the sand. But the wind did help to clear my head at least. I think I'm ready to meet with the Exarch. We need to talk about how we're going to wipe the Sin Eaters out, shall we? Gosh dang, dude. That cutscene does not get any easier. Like, legit. You have business with the Crystal Exarch. Say the word. Yeah. Typical transporter dialogue. You might guess, but I'm definitely going to have to take a couple minutes after this episode before I think about, going into another one. If we weren't at the almost 2 hour mark, I'd have to pause, but we're close enough. I think we can finish this and the episode, I guess it doesn't matter for all of you because it'll be like 24 to 48 hours in between. Cause I haven't yet decided, because I've got another, series that I'm going to post. So I'm probably going to do, you've probably already seen what I'm doing, because this is episode, 3? So, I'm probably doing Shadowbringers, the other series. Shadowbringers, the other series. So, I suppose you would all know already. Thank you for seeking me out, friend. It meant a lot to have you there at my side. Looking at Elfino, I'd say he's as eager to begin this discussion as I am. I say we lay our experiences before the Exarch and step back to see what kind of picture they make. And we can decide where to go from here. Maybe they do have different dialogue. If they're, here when the quest is over. Whenever I come to the Crystarium, the sands of Amarang seem a world away, yet they both lie under the same wretched sky. If only every town could share the Crystarium's spirit of independence. Still, I suppose one cannot decide for others what they should and should not deem important. My powers of persuasion have certainly had little effect on the people of Kalusia. There might be a reason for that. The Light Wardens! The Crystal Exarch welcomes you back to the Crystarium. And he will do that in the next episode. So I hope you've all enjoyed. Feel free to subscribe. You can check the playlist so that you can see any of the other Shadowbringers episodes. I do wish this could be a blind playthrough. It's not, unfortunately. I'm sure there's plenty of people who are disappointed at that. But and here's the worst part. I thought about doing that in Heaven's Word. I think I even started a recording of that. And then I stopped. Because I was halfway in. And then I was like, oh, when I start Stormblood, I'll just start recording that. And then I didn't because I was so eager to keep going. And then I did it again. I was like, well, when I get to Shadowbringers. I was so eager. I could not stop. Once you hit Stormblood, I've had it described as you're in Realm Reborn, and you're like, alright, you know, this is interesting. The quests are kind of mundane, but it's alright. You get into Heavensward, and you're like, alright, maybe there's something here. I'm definitely seeing something here. This seems pretty interesting. And then you hit Stormblood, and you're just like, oh my gosh, I need more. If you're not by Stormblood, that will be the case by the time you hit Shadowbringers. It's Shadowbringers and Endwalker have legitimately been the best two expansions of this game. You know, somebody has described it as you'll play FF14 for about 2,000 hours. And then you'll start Final Fantasy XIV. And it's so true. Like, the game just gets better as you go. And there are a lot of hills. There are a lot of bumps. And I absolutely understand people falling off. But at the same time, like, I fell off. Freaking, I'm playing Final Fantasy XIV constantly now. I fell off like 4 times. I get it. I really do. Sometimes you have to fall off. Take a month, 2 months, 3 months, and then step back in. Because once you step back in, you know, once you've fallen off, and you give yourself a break, then when you come back, you're like, you've calmed down from, you know, what upset you. You've calmed down from, you know, the problems. And what generally happens is, you're like, I guess I'll go back. You know, I remember it being like this, but I guess I'll go back. And you step back in with the lowest expectations, because you know that was what drove you away. Was that the game hurt, like it sucked, and then, you know, so you go in with that expectation of it's going to be bad. But then it's better than you remember. It's not as bad as you remember, because you were so upset at the time that it made it feel worse than it was. And then you step back in and you go, you know, this isn't as bad as I remember. Or, like, a lot of what I've seen happen is you hit a point. You hit one of the big, like, this is legitimately bad points. And you get so upset and everything, and you're just like, I can't deal with this. Except that you got through the part that's legitimately bad. And so you're like, okay, I can't deal with this. I have to stop. And you walk away for a couple of months, and you come back, and you're past the point of the really bad part. And so when you get back into it, you're like, hey, this isn't bad, because you're not in the bad part anymore. You know? And there are many points like that in the first 2 expansions. I will 100% say it. It is the Majora's Mask of Final Fantasies, if you will. You know, there's so many points in Majora's Mask that are just bad. You play it, you fall off, you don't want to play it ever again. But then you come back, but except that you're past the part that was bad. Or you come back because you learned, oh hey, if you do this thing, and you're like, oh, well that sounds like really easy actually. And you do that thing and you're like, holy crap, that was actually like not so bad, you know? And Game Grumps is a good example where Aaron was so angry at Stone Tower because he had like 5 hearts because he hadn't done any of the side quests. Like, so he had like what, 6 or 7 hearts. And like, Stone Tower is brutal if you haven't done the side stuff. And he was getting his butt kicked. And he's like, I can't defend, like, I don't see how people defend this game. It's so bad. It's like, take a break, first off. Second off, stop pushing and rushing through the game. And instead take a moment and look at the side content. And when you do that, when you go in Majora's Mask, you do the side content, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's where the game is. And you do the side content, and you're like 3 times as more powerful by the time you go back to Stone Tower, and all of a sudden it feels way more balanced, you know? Final Fantasy XIV has a lot of that, where it's... there's just a part that sucks, and you're like, I can't do this, like, I don't know how you do this, like, I can't get through this. But you get the current high-level gear, you know? You ask a friend or two, hey, I legit cannot figure this out, you know, because it's a solo, because it's like, usually it's the solo duties. It's like, I can't, what do I do? And somebody says, oh, the trick to that, and don't get me wrong, it is bad game design, but the trick to that, instead of like instead of like trying to kill the Warriors of Darkness individually, the moment combat starts, blast them with absolutely every AoE. And you will find that they go down in like 5 seconds. And that's all there is to it, you know? And I'd have to replay that scene again myself to really remember. That might not actually be the case. But I do remember having the worst time with that until I figured out if you do this, blam, like, it's over, you know? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. I know I've already outroed, so subscribe. Check me out, twitch.tv/SereneInc. Normally I stream these live, but I can't right now because I am moving, so I have been doing these pre-records. But hopefully around June, I will be back to normal streams again. And with that, I will see you all next time. See you later.